Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will read the Prabhupada Lilamrita and Trinath Abhisunichena. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjan Shalakya Chakshurin Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Pure Vaishnava is Nirvastra. In this verse, Narad Muni has said, every man should act like this. When he meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. In all our relationships, there should be no envy. Enviness is one of the six enemies: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. In Sanskrit, the word for enviness is matsarya, and it is one of your six enemies. The second verse of Bhagavatam states, Dharma projita ketava taro parmo nirmastranam satatam vedyam. Who can understand Srimad Bhagavatam? The Bhagavad Dharma Tattva Parmo Nirmastranam Satatam Vedyam. Satatam means Vaishnavas, devotees, Parmo Nirmastara, those who are not envious at all. Only a non envious person can understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and only such a person can understand the Bhagavad Dharma Tattva. Envious people cannot understand this Tattva. The Bhagavata will never manifest to them. This is most important to understand, and this is the purpose for which Srila Prabhupada formed the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. The Krishna Consciousness movement aims at creating an atmosphere of non envy. Of course, it is not possible for everyone to become Krishna conscious, but the Krishna conscious movement can create an exemplary society wherein there is no envy. This is the purpose of Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. This should be an exemplary society wherein there is no envy. The society should be a society of devotees, Vaishnavas in the true sense. A pure Vaishnava is Nirmastara, not envious at all. However, Whatever we do, here Prabhupada explains. Generally, when we find someone more qualified than ourselves, we become envious of him. Narad Muni, who is a Mahajana, give his advice here. A wicked person, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is regarded as the seventh Goswami, a great Acharya in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara, has written in his Shanagrati, I am such a rascal, such an envious person. I always give pain to others and put them in anxiety. I am very selfish, and my only concern is for my own name, fame, adoration, and prestige for my own happiness. I am not afraid of committing any sinful activity. I am Dayahina, a merciless person. When I see someone who is more advanced, it is very painful when I become envious. Sada Mithya, I am a great liar. I only speak lies. Para dukha sukha karo. When I see someone suffering, I become jolly. Ah, very good, very good. There are so many material desires in my heart. I become angry in very flimsy cases. Dambha Paryana. I am such a proud, puffed up fellow. I am great. Aham bada hai. Is there anyone greater than me? I am so great. Especially in Kali Yuga, the most degraded age, Dambha. Pride is the measuring rod. Everyone says, Aham bada hai. I am great. Then another will say, what? You are great? No, I am great. Then fighting and quarreling begins. Two people quarrel and fight. Two groups quarrel and fight. Two neighbors quarrel and fight. Two states and two nations. This is going on. This is pride or dambha. I am always puffed up and proud and intoxicated, which desires for material enjoyment. I am great materialistic person. Himsa, Garva, Vibhusana, envy and pride are my ornaments. I am a lazy fellow who sleeps too much and never does any good work. I am always very enthusiastic to do all evil, nasty, abominable activities for my own prestige, name, fame, and adoration. Satyachana, I am very duplicitous and crooked way. I act in a very duplicitous and a crooked way. Loba hata sada kami. I am a kami, a lusty person who has so much lust in his heart. This is Durjana, not Sajana. Such a person is rejected by Sajanas. He is always an apradhi, a great offender. Thus, his dealings are very crooked, duplicitous dealings. As it is said in the verse, when one finds someone more qualified than himself, he becomes envious of him. When one finds someone less qualified, he derides him. When one finds someone equal with him, he becomes proud of his activities. These are the cause of all the material tribulations. He is Durjana, a most wicked person. He is not a Sajjana. He is an Apradhi, a great offender. He never does anything auspicious. He is covered up, surrounded with so many anarthas. He is Nanadukha Jara Jara, always afflicted by the threefold miseries of this material world. He will never be happy at all. Thus, Narad Muni advice here is when one meets a person more qualified than himself, he should be very pleased. When he meets someone less qualified than himself, he should be compassionate towards him. And when he meets someone equal to himself, he should make friendship with him. Otherwise, he will suffer. If one behaves in this way, he will never be affected by the threefold miseries of this material world. This is the statement of Sadhu Shastra Mahajana. Question and answers. One who has compassion can never stop preaching. Devotee 1. I appreciate very much that you explained to us how Srila Prabhupada's purpose is to create a society without envy. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami. Then I quoted from Prabhupada purport from Srimad Bhagavatam. Devotee 1. We see that among us devotees that are most advanced, the principle is Trinad Apisunichena, Taror Eva Sahisunama. It is not an artificial thing to actually believe. Srila Govind Swami. That is not artificial, Baba. How many days can you act like that before your real Swarupa is revealed? How many days can it go on artificially? However, for a Vaishnava, this type of humility is quite natural. Devotee 1, my question is Srila Prabhupada has said that even if one does not have the practical vision that Krishna is behind, in, and connected to everything, but understand this theoretically, then he is a devotee who is rightly situated. Srila Gaur Govind Swami. Rightly situated? One who sees theoretically is rightly situated. Okay, now I think we can move to the Prabhupada Lilamrita. Page 265. Let there be a temple. The incident proved to be good publicly for the festival. The next day, when Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, and his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, held a Rath Yatra procession through the main streets of Melbourne. Regarding media coverage, Prabhupada has said that simply the printing of the holy names Hare Krishna greatly benefited the readers, regardless of whether the names were mentioned in reverence or disrespect. Amogha. Prabhupada met Lord Jagannath at City Square by Town Hall. There was a Vyas asana on the cart, but he chose to walk before the carts in front of deity of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada was wearing a gold wool cap, a peach colored turtleneck jersey, and an effulgent silk saffron dhoti and kurta. Around his shoulders, he wore a white silk chadar and he wore a garland of orchids and many yellow flowers. It was winter in Melbourne and quite cold, but he put his hands up and chanted and danced. We had about 11 new mardingas. There were also 3 men playing big bass drums, and we all formed a circle around Srila Prabhupada. It was ecstatic, all playing drums, chanting Hare Krishna, and Prabhupada himself chanting in the parade going on through the city. Prabhupada marched with transcendental power, just taking over the city, walking right down Swanson Street. Sabapati, From the point of view of weather, it wasn't a very nice day. Prabhupada met the Rath cart at the corner of Swanson Street and Burke Street, and he led from there on. He walked about 2 miles. All the devotees had been having kirtan in three different groups. But when Prabhupada met the Rath Yatra, the procession, we all gathered around him. He was leading the procession. Behind him was a 14-foot Murti of Lord Chaitanya, followed by the three Rath carts. Even now and again in the procession, Prabhupada would stop and turn around and stare up at the Lord Chaitanya. He would simply stand and look up at the Lord Chaitanya for a minute or two, and then he would turn around again and lead the procession. It was such an ecstatic experience that one gets the feeling that Prabhupada had conquered Melbourne and Australia. Gora Gopal, I was right next to Prabhupada through the whole ceremony, playing the drum. He particularly liked to sing one tune through the whole time. He put his hands up in the air and he was dancing. Vaikuntha Natha, the Ratha Yatra parade was going, and Prabhupada was walking. And at one point, he asked me, "Get me some water." I became panic stricken because there was nowhere to get water. So I just depended on Krishna and ran over to a house as fast I could and asked the people for some water. They gave it, and I ran back to Srila Prabhupada. When I was getting that water through, there was this big rainbow out, and it had actually begun to rain a little bit. It was a very vivid rainbow, and the end of the rainbow came right down on top of huge building where the Rath Yatra ended. Harisuri. There is a big place, exhibition buildings, and we had rented one section of it where the roof was about 80 feet high. So the Rath carts were taken in with the tops lowered and then the tops put up again inside the hall. All the three Rath carts were brought in and tops were pulled up. The Srila Prabhupada came in and everyone was seated. About 1,000 people were there. Srila Prabhupada sat up on the Vyasana asana on the Rath cart itself and gave a lecture from there. Sabhapati. Although it was a cold and rather nasty day, there were 1,000 people in that exhibition building. Prabhupada's lecture was brief. He thanked everyone for coming along and joining in the Sankirtana movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He told everyone he was very appreciative how they had come to see how they have how they come to see Lord Jagannath and how they were taking part. He said that actually all these activities of singing and dancing were due to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Melbourne newspapers duly reported the Rath Yatra, a day for symbol and chant. Chariots stopped the Swami. One newspaper reported, "Don't let Krishna alarm your cleric." The sight of Hare Krishna youths in Melbourne Street should not alarm Australian or cause them to mock the Rev. Gordon Powell said in Scott's church yesterday. He said the sect could be a sign of the swing of the pendulum back to spiritual values and traditional virtues on the part of modern youth. The article praised the devotees' reaction against extreme materialism and reported the events of the Rath Yatra parade. Reverend Powell, head bishop of the Anglican Church in Melbourne, had paid Srila Prabhupada a visit, and this had resulted in the bishop's Sunday sermon comment that Hare Krishna were not alarming. Srila Prabhupada took the bishop's comment as very significant. During his week stay in Melbourne, Prabhupada attended large program at the town hall where he inspired a long and ecstatic kirtana with 1,000 people dancing in a circle before the deity of Lord Chaitanya. He also visited Saint Pascal Teaching Club of Frenchian Seminary and was very well received by the monks there. The seminarian asked intelligent philosophical questions, one of them inquiring about what Prabhupada thought of their founder, Saint Francis of Assisi. The seminarian described briefly how Saint Francis saw everything in relation to God and addressed nature creation as brother tree, brother bird, and so on. Saint Francis attitude, Prabhupada replied, was first class God conscious. The same evening, in his room, Prabhupada met with the Vicar General of the Roman Catholic Church in Australia, Reverend J. A. Kelly. Prabhupada played recording of his morning lecture at St. Pascal, and afterwards the Reverend asked if Prabhupada would pose him for a picture to be printed in their religious periodical. Again, the newspaper picked it up. Swami spread unity message. I think we are almost on the time. Thank you very much, devotees. So we can continue our chanting. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो namo namo. Thank you. We'll continue chanting till 7 a.m. Thank you. Hare Krishna.